To
Cheers.
What we cheers into?
Cheers into talking.
Talking the good life. Hello and welcome to Let's Talk. I'm going to be your host for this evening, and then I have my lovely co-host here, Lydia.
Hey.
We also have two wonderful guests that are going to give us some input related to our topic and to enhance the podcast experience. Thank you so much for coming, you guys. I would like to just go around the room and introduce yourselves, where you're from, and your passion or career.
So my name is Lydia. I'm originally from San Diego, but I was raised in Seattle, so you could pretty much say I'm from Seattle. I've been in the fashion industry pretty much for, 15 years now. So I turned that into my career, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I own a small online brand.
Okay. And next up, Anthony.
Well, hello. My name is Anthony Kerr. I am a marketer at a tech company in my 9 to 5. In my 5 to 9, or my side hustle, I run a community of young Black professionals in Seattle. Originally from Columbia, Maryland, alumnus of North Carolina A&T, Aggie Pride, and currently residing in Seattle.
Nice. And Mo?
My name's Mo Adele, originally from Lagos, Nigeria, but I've lived in the States for a while now, so Atlanta, New York, LA, and now Seattle. Work in the aerospace industry, and yeah, like Anthony, my passion is community building, and we both run a young professional group here in Seattle.
Nice. Thank you, guys. Thank you. And I am Nikki. I am a registered nurse here in Seattle. I will be moving to San Francisco to pursue my doctorate degree in psychiatric mental health, so I'm super excited.
She's leaving me.
Come visit.
For sure.
So actually, why don't we get into it? The topic's going to be relationship and how millennial men and women actually view their role in relationships. Is chivalry dead, or, do women have to pay on the first date?
So for me, I'm very old school. So I would say that I appreciate when a man always pays. Something about
always.
that. Always. Emphasis on the always. But I mean, I don't mind paying, especially if it's a special occasion or just every once in a while, hey, babe, let me treat you or whatever,
But on the first
little
date,
thing. On the
saying.
first date, for sure, I would say a lot of women would expect a man to pay, so that's kind of my take on that.
What happens if they don't pay on the first date?
I actually had an experience. Well, actually, it was not on the first date. It was actually the second date. So they paid on the first date, and then they asked me out again on a second date, and it was just really awkward. I had never had an experience like that in my life. I was literally in shock. I could not believe it was really happening.
So were you just looking at the bill at this
So
point?
what happened, we were having a great time. Everything was great. We were having drinks. And then all of a sudden the bill comes. And for some reason, he thought that I had moved the check towards him, which I don't even remember doing that. I would not do that.
You did it unconsciously, it's just a reflex.
No,
right.
not even,
go.
I don't even know. When the waiter comes and they give you the check, who do they normally put it towards? The male, right? They put it towards the guy. So it was obviously, closer to him. And, I think he was just making excuses. I don't know what his situation was, but something about it was just off. So he says, "Oh, did you just move the check towards me?" And I was like, "No." What? No, I didn't just move the check towards you. And he was like, "Well, we're splitting this." And I was like, "What? What do you mean?" I was like, "You're kidding, right?" I thought he was playing with me. I thought it was literally a joke.
That it was a joke.
Yeah, because we had been laughing
Ha-ha.
the whole time and, just being cool the whole time. And he's like, "No, yeah, we're splitting it." And I was like, "Yeah, of course, right." Right? And he's literally had this straight face the whole time. After literally for 3 minutes, I was still thinking he's kidding. And he's like, "No, I'm serious." So then I'm really like, "You really are?" And he's like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Oh."
So
well,
wait, did you end up paying?
No. So what happened was, I was like, once I get to the point and I'm thinking, okay, he's really serious that he's wanting me to split the bill. I'm like, well, I wasn't expecting that. That's never happened to me, right? So I'm like, well, I left my actual wallet in the car, so you can go and get it from the car and come back and, I'll pay half of it, because I'm not walking all the way to my car and getting my wallet. This is this is just not the situation that I was expecting. And you, as a gentleman, like, you invited me out to dinner.
Right.
Why am I having to pay for the bill if you invited me and it's only the second date? So after I told him that he had to go to my car and actually get the wallet, I think it made him feel a certain way about that. So he was just like, no, it's fine. I'll just pay. And I was like, okay. And then the funny thing is, like, we're walking out, right? I did not speak to him the whole time while the waiter came and cashed us out. We're walking out. He opens the door and I'm like, why are you opening the door for me? That's a gentleman thing to do. Like, why are you doing that? You didn't want to pay the bill. Why are you opening the door for me?
Wow, you being petty.
No,
she chooses violence, you guys.
And he walked me all the way to my car and I'm like, you're walking me all the way to my car, but you did not want to pay for the bill. Again, this is a gentleman thing to do. You don't have to walk me to my car. Opens my car door for me to get into my car again, and I'm like, what is going on? But you couldn't pay for the bill.
I would have Venmo requested your ass later.
Not the Venmo request.
No, I'm playing.
That would have been like, after that, I was like, that just killed it for me. Like, it was a huge turn off. Like, I mean, I don't have a problem paying, but the way that it was set up and how he went about it, and it just caught me off guard, and I just, I was like, I can't talk to this guy anymore.
So, gentlemen, let's ask the gentleman. So, gentlemen, do you believe in chivalry? Do you believe in paying on the first date? What's your take on that?
I mean, for me, it's just an assumption. Like, I'm paying for the first date. I'm probably paying for the first several dates. It's, I guess I'm going along with society's expectation of a man. Now, given this expectation is fluid and trending, if we had it is changing, and if we had some Gen Z people in here, they might feel a little bit differently. Right. But it's like, put the card out, no question. It's pretty much what I've always done. Yeah. So it's never really a big deal for me.
And Mo?
What if, like,
she
invites... No,
devil's advocate over here.
I'm not devil's advocate. I always pay for the date just because, I mean, I'm Nigerian, so, like, that's
the way you were brought up.
Yeah, that's the way I was brought up. But I don't think it's right.
You don't think it's right? Why do you not think it's right? Do you think it should be 50-50?
Elaborate.
No, I don't think it should be 50-50. But like like your situation, right? This dude is interested in you. You're interested in him, right? He already took you out on the first date, paid the first date, no issue. You're coming out, you're having a good time the second date. Like, if you had a friend and you were trying to get to know that friend or whatever, and every time you went out with that friend, it was always you that had to, like, pick the moves, pay for the moves, how long would you stay friends with that person?
But that's a friend. That's a friend. Ooh. See, like, with my female friends,
you won't treat your person that you're trying to get to know and be more than the friend, even better than the friend?
Not in the beginning, though. That's too close. Like, women, okay, I feel like women, we like to feel like the men can provide. Like, that's just a natural thing for us. Like, that attracts us to men. Like, for example, a woman feels like attracted to the man if he's like, for example, he can protect you, right? Like, why do girls like tall guys, or why do girls like a certain thing about a man? So for a woman, we feel attracted to you when you can provide. That means, like, especially pay for a small little date. But I know, yes, the Gen X generation right now, it's all about 50-50. Like, oh, you pay, the woman pays, or, in the household, like, a lot of women now work, of course, right? Like, back in the day, women didn't used to work as much, and, like, they stayed home and took care of the kids. Right. But I feel like now how things are right now, people just feel like, okay, everything should be 50-50. But I think naturally how it's supposed to be, the man is supposed to be the provider.
What if you asked him out on the second date? Like, he went on the first date with you? Oh.
I would not ask him out on the second date. Why would I not ask him out on the second date, you ask? Because, again,
he's asking you.
I feel like as a natural, by nature, I feel like men are hunters, and men naturally want to go and chase a woman. Not chase necessarily, but pursue. And it's like, I feel like it's more exciting for you guys when you actually have to put in a little bit of work. Now, so
if you're a hunter, though, right? Let's say you are a hunter, right?
All men naturally, I feel like, are hunters.
Yeah, all men are hunters, right? You're dealing with a world where, at least like now, women are starting to outnumber us in some way, shape, or form. And especially, like, for young Black people, like, you guys are starting to outnumber us.
Outnumber, like, in
what
men.
way?
The men.
Okay.
You guys are starting to outnumber the men, right? So like, if he's a hunter, right, and he's out here, he's supposed to catch his prey, and you know he came out here, and you know he asked you on the first date, cool, but he also asked other people on first dates, cool, whatever, right? And you're sitting here waiting for the second date, but the other girl had a really good time on the first date, and she's like, yo, I really like to do this again. So like, and she takes the initiative and asks him out on a date. So like, if I'm a hunter, you know what I'm saying, am I gonna waste my time or spend unnecessary energy to catch this really hard prey when there's a sitting duck right here?
That's just sitting there. There's a duck or there's a chicken.
No.
Are you going to go for the duck or you want, you know, if you want that chicken.
That's you though. Like you putting yourself as a chicken, and
I didn't say I was the
they're
chicken.
both birds.
No, I'm just saying, would you rather have a duck or would you rather have the chicken? Let's say you really want the chicken.
Let's assume that you guys are both great women, right? There's
equally great. You like them.
Objectively, you guys are both attractive. You guys are both like stimulating for the guy mentally, but she just was like, yo, I would like to see you again. Like, when are you free? That's all she said. She didn't even say nothing else. She didn't plan the date. She didn't do anything.
So you're going to forget about the other girl because the other girl already took the initiative to ask you out, and then you guys have a connection now, and then you forgot all about the other girl?
So hold on.
He's like, hold on.
When dating someone, do you choose someone who seems indifferent, or do you choose someone who chooses you?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Yes or no, or pick one or the other.
Well, I feel like at first the man kind of chooses you, and then you choose if you want to choose him back. Like,
yeah, that's right.
So
we've gone past the first date, so you've already chosen each other.
Okay,
at this
you've
point.
chosen each other. Okay.
So hold on. So like, what you're saying is like, all right, go out once. Now I'm gonna wait for him to initiate the next time we go out. You might do this 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 50 times. On the other side, there might be someone who like makes it known that they're choosing you back. So you go out once, like, hey, you know what? I really enjoy myself. Let's do this again. Here's my suggestion. So if any individual, man or woman, is faced with someone who seems indifferent or is just waiting around and you don't even know what their perspective is, versus someone who has
actively making an effort.
Yeah, who's made an effort and has made their intentions known. What would you do?
Well, I feel like if you like that person, you're gonna make yourself.
I'm asking you literally, what would you do?
What would I do if I was a guy?
Yeah, like you have if you were a woman, you have a guy that's indifferent and a guy who's asked you out a second time.
Go with
I would go with the guy that asked me out the second time.
So now, me as a man, why should I make a different choice than you?
Why should you make a different choice than me?
Yeah, like why shouldn't I just go with the woman who is interested?
Because is that the person that you're interested in?
You didn't.
I feel like
you didn't have that same consideration for yourself.
No, I did.
Ooh.
You didn't say that.
What do you mean?
This is getting good. Okay.
No, I feel like, okay, a guy is always going to go after what he wants, right? So if you want to go on a second date, you're going to ask her out again. And if the girl is interested, she's going to let you know that she's interested. And that's going to give you, like, you know, that push to ask her out again, right?
But again, going back to just, you're interested in both women. You've had a good time with both women, but one is making an effort and the other is not.
So okay, let's say you guys are both, okay, you're attracted to both of them, right? You're attracted to both of them, but you like one a little bit more and she did not take initiative, and the one that you don't like as much as the other one did. Are you just going to forget about the other one and go with the one that, you know, invited you out again?
I don't think so, but the one that did make an effort is going to get my time before the one that maybe I even like more that didn't make an effort.
So there's a lot of variables in this. So you got to think about like chemistry, you got to think about like values and all of this stuff. But let's say everything is equal, and the one differentiating factor is one that has made it known that they're choosing you versus one who's basically waiting for you to hit them up. and it's like you choose the person who chooses you back, because like you make someone a priority who has also made you a priority.
Yeah.
So
No.
there's I don't think they're like assuming all other things being equal, like you was
Mhm.
like chemistry exactly the same,
Mhm.
looks exactly the same,
Mhm.
values exactly the same.
Let's make it simple. Let's not have a second person. There's not a second person. It's just you and that person. You guys went on a first date. Now you're not talking to anybody else. She's not talking to anybody else. And you guys are just talking. Are you going to wait for her to ask you out, or are you going to ask her out? There's nobody else involved.
I mean, if it's a good time, yes, you'll go with the thing. But like to Mo's point earlier, if we're looking at the world, or not the world today, let's say the U.S. today, and we're looking at black men and black women in any like major city, generally there's a lot more educated black women than there are black men.
Facts.
So for this guy to just have like this one girl, it's probably unlikely.
So what you're saying
Damn.
is, so what you're saying is that when you go out, you have a lineup of girls. Is what you're saying.
They
I'm
got
not
options.
saying.
They got
options.
I'm
Because
not
there's so many
saying.
options.
I'm not saying that me personally, I have 50
Right.
million options.
Not you personally.
But I'm
of
saying, like if you're throwing this like animal kingdom analogy out
you
there.
said
I'm
hunter.
just
You know what
saying,
you said,
look,
hunter.
all I'm trying to say is that we, by nature, act a certain way because that's the way that we were made to act. Like, you know, like for,
Absolutely.
you know, just
And that's fair.
that's fair, right? So,
And the
Feminist.
counter argument was like, if I'm a lion and there is
I'm a
a
lion.
limping gazelle over here, or there is a fully just in best tip top shape, which one am I going to chase? The one I think I can catch, or the one that's going to get away likely? Not the one that's going to get away likely, right? So like if you're sitting over here and saying, he got to hit me up the first, second, third, fourth time that we hang out, you're probably not even going to get that far, because there's other people out here that are not on that time. You know what I'm saying? So like,
but it's the hunt that builds like a keen appetite, though.
how do you know that? Do you be
Because I
hunting?
feel
You
like-
don't hunt.
But I feel like, okay,
per your analogy,
saying
you don't
too.
hunt. What do you know about
No,
hunting?
but I mean,
You don't make the first move. What do you know about hunting?
I don't.
That masculine energy.
But as a woman, we do other things to like let the guy know that we're interested, though. But I'm saying, huh? What do you
Like
mean, like
what?
how, like eye contact,
Oh,
or
no.
just like body language?
Oh my
Can I leave?
goodness! No. You can't tell if a girl's interested in you if like she's giving you eye contact.
I think that the signals that a lot of people think they give are either not received or misinterpreted by the other person, man or woman. When those signals are nonverbal,
Very subtle.
it's like there's a lot of risk for miscommunication, especially if a person you just met.
I've never had that issue. I feel like if I'm connecting with someone, like we look at each other, I already know.
Fireworks.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
Fireworks.
I feel like you just have that.
If we
that
talk about the fairy tale,
chemistry.
sure.
The
Yes, that
I like
happens.
fairy tales. I love fairy tales. I love fairy tales.
I love fairy tales too, but you know, there's a reason.
I feel like it's different for you guys though. It's different for you guys because you guys are the ones. Normally, aren't you guys the ones that have to go up to the female and
Right.
you know ask her for her number?
In
right?
like 2004, yes, but in
on.
2021,
Wait, so women are more aggressive? Definitely, I think so. In this day and age, don't you agree?
So you guys feel like you don't have to go out and actually approach a woman? You
No,
guys
no,
feel
I
like
s-
they come up to you?
No,
a lot of times?
there's it's not like a either or really. There's some people who are doing approaching and they're comfortable with it,
Yeah.
man or woman, and there's some people who couldn't do it at all, man or woman.
I think it's confidence. You have
Yeah.
to have confidence.
Yeah.
Because I've approached a man before, and
Nikki shoots her shot.
I do, and I always win.
I
So-
shoot my shots in other ways. But for the majority, don't you feel like it's men that go and shoot their shot?
Yes.
Of course.
I mean,
Of course.
generally, like,
Yeah.
it's just a safety aspect. it like makes more sense for the guy to shoot the shot, but like, you know, in a room where multiple people are shooting shots, I might not see your eye
Your
looks
subtle
or
look.
whatever, because she's literally pulling on my arm.
There's there's been many a times where I miss
Whoa.
the subtle signals, like many a times. And I was like completely didn't even know what happened. So
Because you weren't interested, that's why.
no, because
Because I feel like if
sometimes
you were interested in her, you would know. Like, you would know.
sometimes you don't have all day to be staring
Yeah,
at somebody to see
I
if they
feel like
throw you
that's
the
not
It's
signal.
not even about.
Have you ever walked in a room and someone's like, "Oh, I didn't see you,"
Right.
or your
No.
friend?
No.
You had a friend in the room. It's
No.
like, "Oh, girl, you were here.
You know-
I didn't see you."
You know what line I get a lot from guys is like, I seen you from the moment you walked in the room. Like, a man knows what he wants. Like, they're gonna
it's a good
see-
line.
It's a
Yeah,
very good line.
yeah,
Look
but
at
it's
you.
okay.
It worked.
Oh, he's like, I'm about to use that next
It
time.
worked.
I'm about to use
No,
that.
but that's not real, because like, what if he was in the bathroom when you walked in? You don't know.
Okay.
He just said, "I'll see you from the moment you walked in, and you sat here. You took that." I mean, that's fine. Maybe he did see you as soon as you walked
Maybe
in.
he was watching you the whole time, and
but
the female
for-
didn't even notice.
But
That's not
realistically,
creepy.
realistically,
Happens all the time. Men are.
realistic.
She's like,
no,
it
but
happens
deadass.
all the time.
No, listen. Deadass, for him, realistic to see you as soon as you walk in, that means he was watching the fucking door. Why was he doing that the whole time?
Maybe he was waiting for a
Yo,
girl to
yo,
walk
wow,
in.
you're gonna warp this in any way to
I
make
mean,
it
He was on
okay,
the hunt.
let's do this.
He was
Let's
on the
do this.
hunt.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's say you're in a room, right? Have you
Yeah.
ever had this happen? You're in a room, and then all of a sudden, maybe this is the fantasy in me, or I don't know, but
The
you walk.
fantasy.
This the
You
hopeless
walk-
romantic.
I
you
want to
know
hear
I'm
what you guys think about this. Has this ever happened? Okay, you're in a room, and like, let's say you're at your little day party, right? You're at your day party.
Little
It's
day
lit.
saying? Damn, shit.
Not okay. I'll take
Right.
out the
That's
little.
mad shade.
No. Lil did not. That's not shade
They
at
throw
all.
big day parties.
That's not shade. That's just a word that I use. You throw amazing day parties.
Yes,
Yes,
they
I'll
do.
give you that. Absolutely.
If anyone's ever in Seattle,
So-
hit up the collective.
So yes. So you guys are at the day party, right? It's packed. Like, everyone's having a great time. All of a sudden, do you ever feel like you literally don't see anybody else, and you just see like this girl walking by, and you're just like, whoa.
Never, not once.
Never. That's never happened to you.
Because I be working at the
I know, but that's never like, no one has ever like caught your attention that way, where you literally just like, everyone else is just zoned out, and it's just like, or someone you know walks in the room, and you're just like, ooh, your heart just starts
If
pounding
this-
or anything. No,
If this was like an 80s romance movie, yes, that
but that's
that
real
would've
life. That
happened.
you don't be having those feelings.
Look, like first,
I be having stuff
I
like
feel
that
like-
happen.
oh,
I
no,
mean,
like-
Nicole, like
first of all, let's say there's 400 people in a space,
Mhm.
and we're at a day party. That's going to be like 60% women,
Mhm.
and there's going to be just a lot of beautiful women out
Yeah.
there. So it's-
80% women.
Okay, for example, like, okay, you're there. How is it that there's all these people, and then you always just happen to see someone that you know out of all these people, right? You spot them just like super quick because of the energy in the room, right? Wouldn't you say?
They just hop in my
Okay,
line
has
of
that
sight.
ever happened to you
That's-
where you just
say
like
hi.
literally like everything
No,
else stops and you see a person?
I know what you're talking about.
Thank
like,
you,
know
Mo.
what I'm saying? Because
Thank
like,
you,
in
Mo.
a room full of people, you still
Mhm.
gotta find someone that you like vibe.
Connect.
Like,
Yeah.
just initial like spark, attraction,
Mhm.
all of that stuff is
Mhm.
good. You know, like, but like that can literally happen like from 1 second to the next, right? So
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, I see her, she looks good, but like you look 2 inches to the right, like you're gonna see someone else that looks just as bomb. You don't know anything about either of them, so like.
So is that what's going on when
They
you guys are at a party? You're like, ooh, she looks good, but she looks good too. Ooh, look at her.
You walk in-
ooh,
you walk in-
ooh, bam.
Options,
Options
there's-
everywhere.
What are you talking about? Like you walk into a whole party, there's
Mhm.
not one girl. Like there's mad girls.
Ooh, that's how they really think.
There's
That-
not
that's
one
how
dude.
you
There's
really
mad.
think.
There's mad.
There's,
What do you say?
but not for us. I feel like personally, for me, when I walk into a room, it's not like, dang, there's
You see, that's
so
the
many
difference.
available
No.
men that I'm attracted to.
Nah. When you go back to that hunter mentality,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Oh.
If you're a hunter,
Uh-huh.
you're looking at the whole forest.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just looking for.
One
You might have your
person.
favorite
Ooh,
prey.
I love
You're
this.
looking at
See,
the
your
whole
perspective
joint.
is different. You're looking at like,
you're
ooh,
surveying
there's
the
prey
field.
everywhere.
You
Yeah.
see.
Ooh.
You see
Yeah.
availability
See?
all
Us
over the
women,
place.
we don't think that way.
No,
you guys
that's-
are thinking like, damn, prey, that's meaty, that's a
Right.
good meal, that's a dinner right there,
So-
Right.
breakfast.
But
So
as
we're-
women, we pick like one person.
So if we're
Mhm.
going back to the basketball analogy, shooting shots is like you take the ball up, you're just not going to shoot the first available shot. You're going to find a high quality shot. So you're going to pass the ball around. There's going to be several shot options, and you're like, all right, this is the high quality shot I'm going to take.
Okay.
But you can't just like buy the first car you see. Like, what's wrong with you?
No, you gotta test them out.
So here's a question: should men be the main breadwinner or provider in a relationship, or should women pay like a percentage of the bills?
I mean, it kind of depends on your lifestyle. So it's like you have two incomes or you have one income. How would you like to live? Would you like to live off one income or two incomes? And there's implications for both. Like two incomes, you can get a nicer thing. You can get a nicer car. You can get a nicer bag. And if you're living off one income, when you really have two incomes, like you can live nicely. But it's like
would you feel like if you had a wife and she made more than you, would you feel uncomfortable?
No.
Damn, he said that quick. He was like, no,
Super
hell
quick.
no.
He's like, bring her on. Where's she at?
Where's she at?
Where's she at?
I feel like the only people who say that are like people who don't make a lot of money.
In a different tax bracket.
No, like, because like there's sometimes, you can have, I'm an engineer, I have a fulfilling career, blah, blah, blah. But like my
Blah, blah, blah.
my income has a very hard limit after a certain point. But if my girl is in marketing or something, for instance, right, she can start off like I come into the job market highly paid. Like I started off out of college, I think $70K. And if a woman that's in marketing comes into the market, like she might get 30 wherever, I don't know, but like she could start off at 30. But like as an engineer, I plateau somewhere in the 200s. No, unless I become an executive at the company or something crazy happens, I'm not going to get past that.
Okay.
But as a marketing person in any firm, the sky's the limit for you. In 1 year, you can get a 50% like pay bump, and now all of a sudden you went from 30, you're now at 60.
Right.
In 2 years, you can be at 100. A couple years later, you can be at 500. You never know.
So you have a comfortable salary. So would you be
comfortable having your wife not pay for anything?
Would you want her to just stay at home and take care of the kids, or would you want her to, if she has her own career, also pay part of the bills?
Have you seen the cost of childcare? Like, I don't even have children, and I already know daycare.
Oh yeah, it's almost as much as some people's like salaries.
So like it depends. So let's say you have two people that make $200,000. If you get a mortgage with just one person, that's different than getting something that you both can afford combined. It's like you could double the house basically.
Right.
So if you like, all right, I'm going to be the provider, you stay home, you don't have to work. It's like that's a lifestyle choice that you're making. It's not like you can't really get like, oh, what's the gender role here? It's like, yes, there's a role you're having someone play, but it's ultimately a lifestyle choice. Like, how do you want to live?
How do you want to live? Like, do you want to be the main breadwinner, or do you want your partner to also split the bills with you?
I mean, I would prefer to do like power couple vibes. So let's take over the world together.
Yes.
It's like, why does one person have to not be doing anything and the other person
so you want everything split, kind of like you.
It has the like
power couples
joint bank accounts.
It's not a matter of splitting. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was obviously raised as a Nigerian person. Like, I have to do enough to be able to provide for my family. Whether my wife wants to do anything or nothing, like I need to be able to make sure that we're good no matter what, right? So that's the base. But if my wife then has a job she's also an engineer, for instance, and she's pulling the same amount of money that I'm pulling in, it doesn't make any sense for us to not live the life that has two incomes. You know what I'm saying?
Combined, you could have
why
a better
would we do that?
Right.
Like, why would we struggle for no reason?
Struggle. Okay. So, is a woman's job, income, or education a factor? Then, do you do you mind if she's educated or not educated?
What do you mean mind if she's
I mean,
educated?
some-
we
some-
want her to be
I'm like, is that
educated.
even a
No.
question? No, it's a must.
Right.
It's a must.
But there are some men who are just like, I just want my wife to be a 10. She doesn't have to be,
That's good for
educated
them.
with
It's
PhDs.
not my ministry. Can't relate.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can't relate to that because
Okay.
at the end of the day, you're thinking about if you're thinking about marriage and stuff like that, you're thinking long term. You're thinking about like building things together. If I don't care what you have up here,
Right.
Mhm.
I can't expect you to have my back. I can't expect you to do anything. I can't expect you to take care of my children properly. I can't expect you to
Mhm.
I can't expect you to do a goddamn thing and
Yeah.
like you're useless.
No one wants to
Right.
build a kingdom with a dummy.
Right.
It's like you gonna fuck the shit up eventually.
Right. And you want her to be comfortable in any room that you go.
It's
to.
not even that.
Yeah.
It's just like, yo, whether we go in rooms or we don't go in rooms, like, can you take care of anything?
Mm.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, and
anything
also I feel
whatsoever.
like if you got an education yourself, you're going to be attracted to someone that actually has an education too, or like is interested in similar things to you. So if I'm educated, I'm going to be attracted to someone that's educated,
Yeah.
not someone that is not educated or also, has the same interest and whatnot. So.
Generally, people choose other people who are in the same like socioeconomic
Status.
threshold.
Yeah.
So that's just a normal thing.
Yeah.
Do you feel that so you guys are both high value men. Do you feel like
I
high
don't know
value
what that
men?
means.
Yeah, define that for
Please.
us.
Stop
I don't know
it.
what that
You-
means.
Stop it.
Before I agree to this, you gotta tell me what that means.
I don't know what that means.
Do you feel that high value men are able to or should be able to exercise options?
I think they want a description of a high value man.
I guess it's different for everybody, but I guess a high value man would be somebody who makes like over 100K per year, and that's like minimum.
That might be poverty in San Francisco.
I-
That- you
exactly.
And
Yeah,
that's
also,
poverty in New York City.
someone,
adjust
a
your
man, a
definition
high
for
value
when
man
you-
is someone also that's bold and is assertive,
A
like
man
an
of God.
assertive man, and just bold and not timid. Like
An alpha,
those,
an alpha male,
male.
an alpha male. Mhm.
Fun fact that doesn't exist. But
That doesn't exist. That man does not exist.
so the alpha male concept was created by a guy watching wolves, but he went back and was like, oh, we were watching wolves in captivity. Wolves in the wild don't actually have an alpha.
Okay, fun
Okay.
fact.
I know, right? Okay.
Anyway,
I
so
don't know that.
So
Dude.
the average income in the United States, and you could look this up with the U.S. Census Bureau, is $50,000.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that are capping online. So what I'm saying is like a high
I mean,
value.
hey, you can't forget the people who make money and they're entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, entrepreneurs.
Definitely.
Woo, woo.
Definitely.
All right, so what was the question?
So everybody has their own definition of what a high value man is. So I'm just going by, social media's definition of a high value man, over 100K consecutive years, making that. So should a high value man have and exercise options as far as like should he cheat? I mean, there's a lot of people, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, even those that aren't in that tax bracket cheat. They have options and they're married. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's like a values thing. Like, I don't think that has anything to do with tax bracket. I'm sure poor people cheat.
Oh yeah, all the time.
But when you talk about exercising options, it was like, is this like once you're committed to someone already?
Once you're committed to somebody.
I mean, if you have that same value system, then commitment is commitment. It's not like a
It doesn't change with your income.
Yeah, it doesn't change with the money.
It shouldn't, right? Yeah.
So it's just your vows
it shouldn't.
and your morals.
Yeah, but I feel like
Okay.
some men feel like because they have a high status and a lot of women like give them attention and whatnot, they feel like they can exercise their options and be wild and choose and pick and be with all these women and just not be faithful. Those are some type of men, right?
I
But-
feel like those men are not in this room. So
There's not. That's great. You guys have great values. That's amazing. But yeah, there's some men like that. I don't agree with that. I feel like the man that I'm gonna be with, if you're a high value man, and that's the lifestyle you want to live, then that's not the man for me. Because I'm gonna be with someone that's gonna respect me and has integrity and that, is not going to want to, step out of the relationship. Because if that's what you wanted, then why did you get in a relationship, So.
Facts. Facts. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your input, especially from the male perspective, because we often, me and Lydia talk about it, woman to woman, but we never have like a male perspective on, a lot of these issues. So it's nice to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have another question though. Like, how do you guys feel? So since we were talking about like values and whatnot, I feel like in this generation, like it's really hard to find a man that like has like good morals and values and that's actually
Facts.
faithful.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess I want to say is like, how do you guys feel about like, because I feel like the music industry also has affected this a lot, like how men talk about like women and like having like a side
especially
chick
music videos
and like all of that. So I feel like a lot of women, from what they see, on either on social media or whatnot, like they feel like they have to accept a man that cheats on them and like, just put up with it and like. But I feel like for me personally, like I would not put up with it. It's like your first strike, you're out type of thing, How do you guys feel about that in like relationships and like being loyal and whatnot?
I mean, loyalty is everything in a committed monogamous relationship.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Thank you. Yes.
I don't know. That was a lot, but honestly,
okay. Okay.
that was a lot, and I'm trying to think about it. But like in general, I think when it comes to relationships, shit is actually getting better. I look back at you guys mentioned chivalry at the very start of this, and like chivalry was actually more like a job description. It wasn't just the honor. It wasn't just the like being
it was a necessity.
It was really, it's like a list of things that these knights had to do, and like we romanticize the parts of it that we like, but there's also parts of it that has like super misogynistic like aspects and like just like no respect for women whatsoever, because it's just that time period, like if we look back at that time period and what people were doing there, like women were not seen as whole individuals the way we see women today. Like they're basically property, right? So like, even within the chivalry thing, like we all know about the like open the door, like blah blah blah, but that was like one aspect of it. Like it's a whole book of chivalry, and like the other shit was not good.
Right.
The other shit was not good. So like I actually think that this generation is probably the best off when it comes to like just man and woman interactions, because like we're actually seeing each other as more of equals and more of like we're seeing each other as more fully formed human beings. Like it was not too long ago that a woman can go to a bank and like open her own bank account. Like this whole stuff where it comes like the whole like dudes paying for the date, man being providers and stuff. There was no choice.
Right.
Like
back then, yeah.
not so long ago. So like it was like, yeah, the dude had to be the freaking provider. He was the only one that could get a job in this household.
Right.
Like nobody else could get a job in this household other than him. So yes, he had to take care of everything. But now we have the same access to opportunity, and obviously there's still like gaps in terms of income, and like there's still discrimination and all of that other stuff that goes with it. But like we're kind of course correcting a little bit for like some of the things that have been going on over the years. So I actually think that this generation and the generations hopefully in the future are going to do a lot better than we did. Because like there's a lot of situations when I think about like, oh, your grandmama stayed, and it was like, yeah, your grandma stayed and she was miserable.
Well, damn.
Your grandma,
Pretty much.
yes, your grandpapa did every freaking thing for your grandmama, but she hated him. Like
because she had no choice.
she had no choice in the matter. She had to sit here and deal with all of his bullshit because
he was a provider.
There was nobody else that could take care. Like she couldn't leave him. She was a hostage. So she couldn't go nowhere, right? So like like I don't know. But in terms of your uh, loyalty aspect, I think that's actually going to course correct.
Mm-hmm.
The previous standard where women didn't have any leverage in the situation didn't create for a environment where men needed to be faithful. Like, you can love your woman, but like, she needs you to survive. So like, what stops you from doing whatever you want to do out in the world? Nothing. Right? But now we have a situation where she doesn't necessarily need you anymore. So like, you have to now make sure that you're doing right by her, because she can leave.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
back to that loyalty thing.
Philosophical question. Because men were providers, because women could not provide for themselves, let's say 150 years ago. Now that women can provide for themselves, what is the purpose or the societal purpose to hold men as providers?
That is a great question. I think for me, like, if I were to be married, I would want because I'm just speaking from experience from seeing both my parents. They are both happily married. They've been married for over 30 years, actually over 40. And I saw my dad provide like for the house, the big expenses and the bills. My mom still worked, but at the same time, she also provided for the bills as well, too. So I'm fine with, providing a portion of it. All of it? No. Yeah, I saw my dad, and my dad, he was just like, I got the house. I got the big expenses. And I appreciated that because I had a great childhood. But like I was saying, just looking at both my parents, I would not only provide financially, but also help raise the children. And that's a job within itself, especially working full time. Like
not to cut you off, but like cutting you off.
Excuse me.
So if you acknowledge that child rearing is not is a job in itself, right?
It is.
If you have the higher earning potential than your husband, let's say whatever job you decide to do, okay, I'm an engineer, I will make 200K max, but my wife is an anesthesiologist.
Dr. Nikki.
She'll make 500, right? It makes more sense to have her bring the bread home and me do the work that y'all say is work of raising the home.
So you would be fine with raising the home.
So you'd be a house husband.
Sign me up.
Really? But
does it not make sense?
But
though?
okay, let me tell you something though.
If she has to stay home with the kids, we lose out on her income, her earning potential. If I stay home with the kids, we don't lose out.
Okay.
We have to live at 200K, or we have to live at 200K just so we can make her stay home and be with the kids and fit those traditional roles.
Let's see how that would play out though. Men are really not made by nature to stay home and literally rock a baby and play with them.
Who says that?
So you're saying because
a man can be nurtured?
You can do it. You can do it. But women naturally, we're the nurturers.
Lydia,
we enjoy doing this. You guys don't. You guys want to be out there. Don't you feel like you're more of a man when you're out there and you're physical and you're actually making the bread?
Lydia,
like,
you're saying
don't you feel like
because I don't lactate, I can't.
No, forget. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, wouldn't you feel? Would you feel less of a man? You wouldn't feel less of a man that you. And your friend comes and he's like, oh yeah, honey, like I just came and I just, did this, and he's talking about his work and his accomplishments and all his achievements while you're at home with the baby bottle and some diapers. Like, you wouldn't feel less of a man?
You're saying I should feel emasculated is what you're saying.
Yes, like me, like I feel like, I don't know, like women are just made to do those things. Yes, we have been able to do more things because, we've evolved and we work and we do all of these things, right? But I feel like naturally, a woman is made to do those things, and a man is made to do,
a provider, to be a
provider.
So let me just say this right here. The only thing a man is made to do that a woman can't make to do is carry the child. That's the only thing.
And
you can carry the
You can-
child
I'm
and
not saying-
lactate.
I'm
I
not
can't
saying
do
that
that.
you
So
can't
yes,
be
you can
home.
do that.
I'm not
But
saying-
everything outside that, once that child is born, when it comes to taking care of that child and providing for the family, we have to figure out what works best.
Mm-hmm.
If you're getting paid $20 million
I get
annually
that.
because you're the
I
CEO
get
of a
that.
company,
But would you
and
be okay?
I'm just an engineer at that said company,
Mm-hmm.
I'm staying home with the kids.
Financially, that makes sense. But
That
would
makes
you?
sense, period. Like,
Listen. Yes, but would you? Let's talk about how you would feel.
Lydia.
Would you
I
feel
wouldn't feel
okay?
I wouldn't
Lydia.
feel any less
okay.
of a man to take care of my family, because at the end of the day, right? This is not like a. I think that's another thing too, because like, and I think about my father a lot in this. Like, he had to make unilateral decisions of the family's well-being, and didn't take anybody else's, opinions into account. And yes, he did his best because that's what he thought was the best thing to do. But was that the best thing to do? I don't think so, to be honest with you, right? If I'm being 100% honest with you, my dad going home and going out and working every day, and me never really getting to see him unless he was taking me to school in the morning, and never seeing him for the rest of the day for the first 10 to 15 years of my life. That was what he thought he had to do, and he did what he had to do, and that's great. I'm in the position I am today, and that's cool. But like, was that the best way to do about it? If you've asked 4-year-old Mo, like, would you rather see your dad, or would you rather,
have the luxury of having all these toys,
have the luxury of these toys, or blah, blah, whatever it was, or that he thought was like important to me, I don't think that answer would have been the same. Right? So if there's a situation and my wife is making more than me, significantly more than me, and I have to go home and be with the kids, I'm doing something for my family. Fuck my manhood.
I get that.
Fuck,
I get that.
Lydia,
I get it.
what we're saying is,
like, go ahead.
like, our masculinity is not tied to the income ratio in our household.
No, it's not.
So the answer.
So my question is, like, you wouldn't feel less of a man staying home and taking care of the kids.
That's exactly
and doing
what I'm saying. My masculinity
is
not tied to that. I'm still a man if I am in the.
Would you still feel the same though? Would you still feel the same and fulfilled?
Great. I will feel great. I will.
Here's the thing.
Sounds like you don't want to work and you want to be a stay-at-home dad.
No, but here's the
Anthony,
thing, though, like,
you got.
Here's the thing. Like, you're making it sound like staying home is this like cop out, is this like downgrade. No, it's not. Like, I can be at home and still do shit.
Of course, but would you feel fulfilled as a man that you're just staying home and just taking care of the kids?
So
that's my question.
If I'm staying home and taking care of the kids, I'm doing something.
But
so what's there not to be fulfilled?
Like, you just staying home and being a stay-at-home dad.
Would you feel fulfilled staying at home taking care of kids?
I would feel, yes, I would feel fulfilled. But a part of me, I like to work. Personally, I like to work.
And what's stopping you from working when you're at home with the kids?
What's stopping me?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
There's nothing stopping you.
Like, I can do that, though, because I feel like that's my role as a woman, because that's how I was brought up.
But you don't have to stop working. You can be at home and work.
But I think Lydia's trying to say is, like, Lydia is, she's an entrepreneur. She's a businesswoman. When she has kids, I feel like Lydia's always going to have her business.
Exactly,
as well.
Right? So can't a man also be an entrepreneur and still have a business? So yeah, maybe I don't go to Amazon and work that 9 to 5 anymore and be in the meetings, but like, I can find something else to do that will fulfill me in the same way that my old job fulfilled me.
You guys don't feel like gender roles really play any, like, it doesn't really have any effect in your life, really?
I feel like if my life shifts in a way in which there's a part of the like traditional gender role that I can't do, I shouldn't be sad about it. And by like attaching so much of my self-worth to that, like, I'm not doing myself a service. And if I have to make a logical or pragmatic or financial decision that means that I cannot be the breadwinner of the household, I don't want to be depressed because of that. Like, it's like what I asked earlier. It's like, why do I need to associate my self-worth with what we thought a man was 200 years ago? why do I need to like put so much of my like
Emphasis.
my emphasis, my joy, my like id, anything like the Maslow's hierarchies of needs. Like, why do I need to put so much of that into being the one who
That
brings
home the
in
bacon.
the most money? Like, first of all, I'm team passive income. I don't dream of work. But it's we don't have to. We do not have to be like shackled by that anymore.
No, you don't.
So,
But
like today, let's be completely realistic. Like, we are high income people, so it's like particularly future Dr. Nikki here is like you like, all right, I'll ask this to you, like, you're gonna be placed in the income bracket in which most of the time you will not meet people who are also in this tax bracket. So what is your perspective, and like 99.5% of men that you're going to meet once you're Dr. Nikki are going to make less than you?
That's a good question.
And it's facts. Like, you're speaking facts. Like, there's probably going to be like a small portion or percentage of men that will be in that tax bracket. And I look at other values besides financial income, as far as like honesty, great communication, being a man of God, being ambitious within their own right, and being able to hold an intelligent conversation, being an intellect, educated. So there's going to be other things that I'm just not going to put a number on what my man should have, but I do feel that he should be, financially stable and secure.
So let's say Dr. Nikki is dating Teacher John. Teacher John.
Well, wait. What type of teacher? Like a professor from a university, or
like
high school teacher?
Let's say Teacher John is making like $70,000 a year, and
Pretty high for teachers.
Like he's doing well in the teacher world, and he's financially secure. He made like pragmatic decisions, wise decisions. Like he lives somewhere cheap. He's been putting money in his retirement account. He's going to be able to retire and live an okay life. But you, Dr. Nikki, are $500,000 a year, and like y'all get together. It wouldn't even make sense at all for Teacher John to continue working when y'all have 3 children that need daycares, babysitters, tutors, etc. Where Teacher John has the skill set to, one, educate these children, especially in their early childhood, but also just the price of sending these kids to daycare and tutors and all of that stuff will be more than Teacher John's salary in the San Francisco Bay Area. So would you be okay? Like, let's say Teacher John has those values, he's a man of God, he has character, but Teacher John
laying it on thick.
Teacher John only makes $70 a year, and like if you were to like seek long-term commitment with Teacher John, it wouldn't, and have some children with Teacher John, it wouldn't make sense for him to work at all. Would you be okay with that relationship?
I mean, is Teacher John like fine as hell? Like
all the things.
Everything you could want. Everything you could want, but he's only making $70K.
But if he buys you a Birkin, it's gonna be with your money. So so how do you feel about that?
I'm highly attracted to the ambitious and motivated individual.
He's still ambitious.
Like I said, I'm highly attracted to the ambitious.
To rich niggas.
And so that type of man is gonna never be poor for me. And $75,000 in the San Francisco area is, man, that's just very not.
That doesn't mean like he's actually poor. Like, yes, that's a low amount of money to be making that area, but if you make wise choices and you get lucky a couple times, like you will live just okay.
Teacher John has a passion in educating the youth.
Yeah,
and that is
he wants
amazing.
to make it. He has ambition for the community.
But I think
he has an ambition for the community.
I think Dr. Nikki wouldn't be initially attracted to him because, like she said, it's the ambition. So for myself too,
hold on. Let me finish this.
He's saying a teacher can't be ambitious.
Hold on,
yes, but
Lydia, let me finish this. So,
okay,
so like, Teacher John is ambitious. He comes off as a confident person. He has purpose.
Teacher John went to Harvard, but he chose that this is what he wants to do.
So like, Teacher John wants to make an impact in the community. Like, he is thriving in delivering value to people. He's thriving in changing people's lives for the better. And he has the confidence, the self-worth, the dignity, all of that. The only thing he's lacking is
those extra numbers.
Is a high paying job. So like when you say you're attracted to
zeros.
ambition, are you saying you're attracted to business ambition that equals money, or are you attracted to people who seek to deliver high impact?
Both. You had both.
Well,
Both. Impact, ambition, motivation.
you gotta.
niggas
She,
only.
I think
that's
that
what she said.
answers it.
It's like money, because like you can have a lot of money and not be ambitious. Like I wouldn't. Like there are plenty who.
If it was
there's
handed
plenty
down to you.
But
no,
that
like-
wouldn't attract me,
No,
though.
there's
that
plenty-
That would not
Exactly.
attract
there's
me at all.
plenty of like people who are just good at something and got lucky. Like they're like
Then
for
that
instance,
wouldn't be attractive. Like personally, I'm attracted to a go-getter, like someone that
Yes.
is, driven and they want more out of life, and
You
they're
can be a
always
go-getter and
changing.
broke.
You can be go-getter and broke. I
Yes, you
haven't
can.
met any so far.
There's
Yeah.
plenty of them.
I haven't met any so far. If you're a go-getter, I feel like
if you are a go-getter and
Results. We
no,
gotta
no,
see
no,
results.
no. If you're a go-getter and like what you care about is uplifting people who are in less than average socioeconomic circumstances,
Mhm.
like I work with a community out here called Community for Youth, and we have some of the smartest people that work for this nonprofit organization. But it's a nonprofit organization. You're only going to make X amount of dollars
Right.
every
Mhm.
year. But they go about solving stuff that our government is not solving for.
Mhm.
And our government is what? Our highest educated, the highest paid, the elites
Mhm.
of our society, right?
Mhm.
They're not solving this problem. And freaking Steven at Community for Youth is doing the work. He's getting kids that are homeless through high school. He's getting kids that, have to don't have parents who can take care of them because they're either incarcerated or addicted. He's getting them through high school and getting them in a position where they can be functioning members of society and live a fulfilled life.
Right.
And he's doing that for 40 to 60 kids every year
That's beautiful.
as the executive director of this small nonprofit organization.
That's beautiful.
But he's the executive director of this small nonprofit organization, meaning
He's not in the
his
running.
income is going to stop at 100K or 90K or whatever it is. As long as that, nonprofit organization is at that level, this is where his income is going to stop. But he is doing phenomenal work.
You saying the man who's
He's
out
doing
here?
better than
And that's amazing if he's doing
Governor
so good.
Inslee, who makes, okay, I won't say that, but like he's doing better than XYZ people who have all the degrees, all of the accolades,
Right,
all of the
right.
like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
But when we look back and we're like, yo, what did you do for this world?
Right.
What impact did you leave? And it was like, oh yeah, I wrote a check to somebody sometime and we don't know where it went. But this guy is over here doing mad work.
And I think
Yeah.
that's beautiful. And I think that somebody who's doing the work and getting the credit for it deserves all the accolades. But at the same time, I feel like, okay, if he's doing this, and this, why can't he expand it globally? Why can't he take this to a higher level? That's the ambition that I'm talking about, the motivation.
So let me give you another example. So let's say you have a PhD working at an NGO, and it's literally their life's work to cure HIV.
Okay.
This person is not making a lot of money because they work at an NGO.
Right.
So you're saying they're pursuing something that's very global, something that will take decades to do. Like you can't just like, all right, I'm going to cure cancer this year and do the research this year and then done. It's like you got like when we say life's work, this is literally life's work. Are you saying that this person is ineligible because they're not seeking something that is going to make them
Immediate
wealthy?
gratification.
No, I feel like, that's fine if that's their career choice. But for me, if I want to marry somebody, like I'm going to talk to somebody who is ambitious, innovative, motivated, and inspired to go the distance, Does that make sense? And to be the best person that they could be, and to have the income to match it, so that way the life that we have is going to break the generational curses.
So you're saying people trying to cure cancer are ineligible?
The lady, the lady.
Y'all are grilling me today.
No, but this is the disconnect between what people say and what they actually mean, right? You can
Okay.
say all these nice fancy things about caring for this, but like, what if you're actually met with this person who does all of these things, but also, I mean, it doesn't look good sometimes, you know? Like the lady who came up with the technology for these mRNA vaccines that we finally used this year. She's been working on it for the last 20 years of her life.
And that's beautiful.
She's from some Eastern European country. She was working at a prestigious college. She started working on this thing and said, "Hey guys, I want to do this thing where we tell we tell your DNA what to make to stop shit." And everybody was like, "That's dumb." And she was like, "No, but I really think this is possible. I want to do this."
Right.
So they were like, "All right, cool. You can do that, but not here. Bye." So she was fired from whatever, for whatever prestigious institution she was working at.
Okay.
She took her family out of whatever European country she was. She came over here to New York and got some like teaching understudy job, like at not NYU, Columbia, right?
Okay.
And she's working at Columbia. She's working for some professor, trying to progress this. Trying to progress this technology, but no one believes in it. Literally no one believes in it, because it's like, that doesn't make any sense to anybody. And it's really hard to do. But now look at us in 2021. This lady's technology actually had practical use. We didn't know when this pandemic was going to hit.
Right.
We didn't know if it was ever going to hit, but hey, it hit. And luckily for her, it hit in her lifetime. But there's also the good chance that it never hit. And like, this lady did all of this work and we never needed that technology until her life was over. Right? So what would you do with someone like that? She literally basically saved the world.
But I feel like I know, but I feel like the people that you meet, well, at least for me, I could tell the ambition. I could sense the motivation, the inspiration, the innovativeness. Like, you could tell that from a person, and you could tell that whatever direction they may go, it might be hard, but at the same
She wasn't making any money for the last almost 20 years.
So basically the point we're making is like,
right.
delivering something of value is not always correlated
with finances.
Like, she didn't make no money for
like
the
you
last
can
20 years.
like this pandemic killed 500,000 people, and this one person who was working on something for years and no one believed in them and they did it for like next to nothing was the person responsible for saving millions and billions of lives. And it's like, this person did that thing. They may or may not be financially rewarded with that. So like, are we talking about ambition that only equates to business value? Or do we have room to consider societal value that does not result in like your personal finances increasing to a significant degree?
Wow.
So for me, so for me, I'm all about the person, like their soul, who they are inside, and like, you know, of course, what they want to, they're not, you know, a selfish person, and they want to do for others. And of course, yes, their ambition, they're driven, because that's who I am. So that's who I'm going to be attracted to. But at the end of the day, no, money is not everything, because we're all going to leave this planet, and we're not going to leave with the money. We're going to leave with our soul and what we left on this planet. So ultimately, what I'm looking for is someone that is a beautiful person inside, you know, and that wants to leave a legacy behind because of the things that they did and what they did for others, you know.
Right.
Because yes, the luxury life is fabulous. We all love that. We like going out. We like all these beautiful vacations. I love that personally, of course. But ultimately, I'm not chasing someone that has money, because
Facts.
those things are going to end.
So-
There's a lot of men with
Facts.
money, but
so you're,
I'm
you're saying
chasing.
Teacher John is just all right for you.
I
Would you-
personally
would you go
wouldn't
with
be.
Teacher John?
I wouldn't be attracted to Teacher John because I would be bored of our conversation because I'm not into education. So I'm gonna be more attracted to. I'm
Teacher
not.
John is a
Let me
well-rounded
listen.
My man's is laughing.
Listen. I'm gonna be interested. Your career has a lot to do with it because you're gonna come
Right.
home. You're gonna tell me about, this is what happened with the board or the
Teacher
kids
John
and whatnot.
is a 10 out of 10. He just happens to love the kids.
He-
That's all.
He loves the kids. Okay, that's
He
great.
just
I love
wants to
kids
make
too.
sure the kids
Teacher
are-
John. You know what? If Teacher John has all of these qualities that I look for in a man, fine. That's fine. You're making $70K?
You'd be okay with $70K?
I'd be fine with $70K as long as he's driven, ambition, a man of God, and
That's
he
beautiful.
does things for other people,
She
and
said
he's
that.
not.
That is beautiful.
And he's
That's
not.
beautiful.
Lying.
Who's lying? Me? I'm lying?
I don't.
I'm not.
Your bestie said that's beautiful. Ain't gonna be me though. Not me.
Beautiful.
Like,
As long
can-
as he just, he's always progressing and wants more and he's not content, that's what I'm attracted to. I'm attracted to a man that wants more and wants to do things and,
I can see it now. Like, this guy's gonna ask you out to Applebee's because he's on
we're
a
not
teacher's
going to
salary.
Applebee's though. Why
He's
do
gonna
we
pick
have to
you
go to
up in a Honda
Applebe's?
Civic.
Because he only makes
So-
70K.
Why do we have to go
He
to
only makes
Applebee's?
70K. He
He's
only
a
makes
smart person. He
70K.
knows what
Look,
he-
if
Applebee's
he's
got
driven and
good
he's
deals.
ambitious, he's going to want more out of life. He's not going to be comfortable with the 70K.
Ooh.
So when I
but
meet
hold
him,
up. We
when I
just
meet
we
him
just
and he's doing
established that
70K,
ambition
that's fine,
is not
but-
correlated with financial success.
That's fine, yes.
So
But
if this man can only afford a
if
$1
the love is there
sign
and
restaurant,
if he,
So are
I'm
you
in love with
telling me-
him
are
and
you
he has
telling
all
me
these
that-
other qualities.
Are you telling me that some guy who is a tech bro making however money can look at you and be like, why are you doing fashion? That is not a real freaking... It's like that's not going to get you anywhere near where I am, and therefore your ambition is lacking.
At his level. But what do you mean?
if you
So-
pursue
So if you pursue someone whose income is significantly larger than you, then yours is with your venture, whatever that fulfills you, right?
Mhm. But for
Are
most men, they don't really look at a woman
They
like
don't.
They don't. They're not
look at a
looking
woman's
like, oh,
income.
you're
We're not
only
most men.
making this much, and I'm making this much. So
They don't. They
we're not
don't.
gonna work out. That's not how it works.
like if a man does not care of those things, then that is probably also the man who is going to exercise those options that you can't deal with as well.
No, but I feel like if we are both on the same level,
You're not on the same level because
Okay.
that's literally the whole point. Like if he tells you that your ambition in comparison to mine, because
but I'm
mine,
an ambitious person. Like I'm always striving for more.
you are always striving for more, but
And he's going to be that person too, always striving for more. But you're saying that he would look at me like, oh, it's not enough. But men don't look at women like that. They don't look at a woman and be like,
women in
oh,
a certain
your
tax-
income is not enough. Like, I'm making more than you. Like, I'm going to move on to a woman that's making more.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
it does happen.
Well, no, men. I think
I've
men
never
in a,
come
I
across
think
it.
men in a certain tax bracket when they reach the higher upper echelon levels are going to be like, you know what, my boo, my woman is not gonna have to make X amount.
When I said people generally date people in the same socioeconomic threshold, y'all agreed with me.
Right.
For the most part, sometimes. But yeah, would you agree that a lot of men also date like younger women? A lot of men also date women that they're not even on the same tax bracket as them. They're not even the same
Or no
field.
education.
again,
Nothing
so,
at
so,
all.
so there's always a trade-off. Yes, all of these things happen, right?
Mhm.
But if you're dating someone who's not your equal, if you're dating someone who you don't have an equitable relationship with,
Mhm.
there's going to be a power imbalance. And that's when you get into this situation
options.
where, yes, he's dating you. Maybe you fulfill like his lust, or maybe you fulfill like whatever you fulfill, right?
Mhm.
But you're not able to stand on equal footing with him, right? And therefore, he's going to figure out a way to control you, to manipulate you, to do whatever it is
To
that he
have
needs
options,
to do with you.
right?
And that's where all of those other options come in, because you're talking about men. It's like, yeah, okay, he's dating a woman who's 20 years his junior, but when she gets to 25, he's going to go back to the 20-year-old.
Mhm.
So what the heck did she gain out of that? Nothing. Yes, he's dating a woman who he doesn't require to have any job whatsoever. But when he's tired of her, what?
And those are a different type of men. Those are a
Okay.
different type of men over there.
Well, I want to thank you guys. Our hour is up, but I definitely want to thank each of you for your contributions to this podcast.
For sure.
You know, just having these open conversations are amazing because we get to hear not only from the woman's perspective, but from the male perspective as well, too. So anything else that you guys would like to add? No?
Nah, I'm good.
All right.
Part 2 to come, because
Right.
this could go on.
Yes. So thank you so much,
Thank you,
audience.
guys.
You're going to see the link to our social media handles as well as YouTube video at the bottom of the screen. Please tune in, tell people about it, like, comment, and let us know what you think.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace.